ready to learn how to take this needle out of me? No pressure. How do you feel?
Okay.
I just have to sit there and just wait.
How do you feel?
I'm okay. There's a few things I was like, hang on here, but we'll talk about it at home. I'll guide you through it. And I have a dirty shirt with meds on it. That's okay. Not stressed, are you? Good. Hello everyone, thank you for watching. I'm going to insert in the quick clip of the baby bottle here, then I'll resume with the verbal update of what's happened in the last 2 weeks. Alright, here's the baby bottle outside of the pouch, and just to give you a closer up view of it. Here is my chemo med. I'm not going to bother pronouncing it. 4 grams of it is mixed or infused into 230 mils of the dextrose liquid, and the rate that it pulls into my body is at about 5 milliliters an hour, and that's why they tell you about 46 hours to complete this medicine to go into my body. So how does it go into my body? I've been told it is my body heat, like just body heat, and also my heart pumping, but also because the medicine itself is inside this balloon. So yesterday, and hopefully I'll be able to insert a photo, I think I took a photo, it was right down to here in number 5. So it's filled with a lot of medicine, and over time, as it gets fed into my body, of course, you see it reduce in the body. And so the balloon that was expanded by the liquid is now compressing, helping to compress the liquid into my body through yet another tube right here, which then connects to the top, to this little tube that goes into my portacaf. So one of the questions I was asking the nurses, well, hey, any issues with the bottle? And she's like, no, the bottle is actually really robust and it's not going to break. Like, you really have to mangle on it, and it's been designed pretty good that it's not going to leak. However, what could happen is the balloon, because it's literally just a balloon, it can pop. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened, and when it does, well, just go into the emergency department, because even though it's supposed to be leak proof, we don't want any leaking to happen because it is poison and it'll really irritate the skin and do other damages. So go into ED to have it disconnected. The other thing that may happen, there are folks who, well, yep, that's the new thing. You got this long tube that's connected to your portacaf or your PICC line, and some people will get it hung up on items like a doorknob and accidentally pull and tug too much, and part of the needle comes out on the other end that's connected to the body, and then if it leaks there, you'll begin to develop burning, or you'll feel burning and develop rashes. So yep, you have to run off to the ED, the emergency department again, and get that pulled out immediately. I guess one of the funny stories she gave me, just given who I was, she kind of looked at me and said, you like doing things, and my wife laughed too. And not too long ago, someone came in because they were gardening and they accidentally cut the line. So, yeah. Anyways, All right, you're still here, which means you really want to know how my last 2.5 weeks went. So here's the verbal update. At the very start of this video, you would have saw a CT scan photo, and that's because before my chemo, for a good 5 days, I was experiencing a lot of pain. If you take your hand and put it right underneath your right rib cage and follow your hand all the way down the front and side to your hip, down to your groin area, and across, and then a little bit up to your abdominal area. That whole surface area that you just covered with your hand is where I was feeling my pain. So it's a very large area. Now, I basically concluded to myself that it's my cancer pain that I'm feeling. However, at one point, I felt a familiar pain, such as my two abscesses that I had back in September and October. That's when I got a little bit concerned because I was thinking, oh great, if I somehow have an infection, then this is going to delay my chemo. And I've already missed my official second chemo, waiting to get my second chemo, right? So that's why, as per the date on that photo, I checked in. It was a Monday morning that I checked in the hospital to, go through the process. So the good news is that I did not have an infection. The bad news is CT scan confirmed that my cancer had grown. And where it had grown, well, the lesions in my left lung and my liver had grown, and the colon wall, where the mass is detected and the growth along the wall and so on, that also got thicker. So I know that there would be a lot of concern to that, and yet I'm still smiling and everything because the Lord is awesome. So before I was released, I was prescribed morphine tablets, and some of you know my take on painkillers. I will take it if I need to, but I got home and I was like, okay, Lord Jesus, look, the cancer has grown. That's okay. In your time, I know that I'll be healed. So right now, though, you know I don't take well to these morphine tablets. This was my prayer. I told him, you know I puke when I take these things, and that's why I don't take them. I will puke if I take like several ibuprofen or the acetaminophen, so Tylenol or Advil. And so I was like, Lord, I really don't want to take this. Give me pain relief. And he did. He gave me pain relief from that Monday all the way to the Friday for my chemotherapy. And I still have it right now, which is why I'm talking to you like this, which is amazing. So for all of you out there who are praying for me, keep praying for me. Okay, keep praying for me. Healing is coming. All right, so after that ordeal, then the Friday, so the June 10th, was when I finally had my second chemo. And this time it's the faux chemo. So with the baby bottle, which now you would have watched and everything. That's pretty cool. I'm going to insert a little photo of how it looks like when the balloon is all decompressed. And wow, so how do I feel? Well, just like my first chemo, the second chemo was no different, with feeling very ugh. So what's the ugh? Being very lethargic, feeling nauseous, loss of appetite. Now, obviously this could be due to the chemo med, but I really feel like it's from the four drugs that's given to me to manage nauseousness, which is kind of ironic, but I know as a child when I had gravel, it doesn't work well for me. In fact, I feel like vomiting instead. Something my body wants to reject it. How many of you have been on a cruise and you've taken those, like the not HCl crap? I just forgot what it's called. But anyways, the tablets to help you, manage not being dizzy and nauseous. I don't take well to those either. So basically, first and second time of my chemo, within hours, I feel like I'm stuffed in the chest, and I get very dizzy, and I have a lack of energy. So that feeling doesn't leave me until the third day, a good 72 hours later. And it's not until after the 72 hours that I start having some appetite back. So I guess a way to explain the appetite bit is that I really only want fresh things like fruits, but the bad thing about that is with my ileostomy, it's not good for my output, because then it's not thick. It becomes very, very liquid, which then doesn't help me with my output because I'm already struggling with my hydration. As you can probably imagine, the medicine pulls out a lot of fluids from my body. Anyone who's going through chemo, you'd be told to make sure that drink a lot of fluids. Make sure you keep yourself very hydrated. Well, with my ileostomy, it's already a challenge without the chemo. Now with the chemo, it's pulling so much fluid out. My first day, I had an output. pee output of a little bit more than 4 liters, and I didn't drink more than 2 liters, so another 2 liters came out from my body. So it was a huge struggle, and I was just borderline dehydration for the last 3 days. Actually, even yesterday I was borderline, and today I'm just chugging down a lot of fluids. So fluids, when you have a loss of appetite, or when I have a loss of appetite, but I think you too, it's difficult to drink certain things. You probably just want something fresh, like diluted juice or straight up juice if that's what you drink. That's not my preference. I actually feel like gagging and puking. I want, certain things like milk, but milk, I find that it doesn't really hydrate my body good enough. In other words, it doesn't get absorbed the quickest, but it's the best for me along with broths. Sorry, and I should clarify, the milk I'm drinking is ultra filtered milk, so high protein milk. Maybe I'll insert a little photo here so you can see the difference, or links. So dehydration was constantly a struggle, and it wasn't until the third day, technically yesterday, that I started getting borderline. And today I'm really, really, really trying to hydrate, which reminds me something else about meds. Um, so, yeah, just like the first and the second time, it's the same kind of result, leaving me with the dry vomits and everything like that. The med itself, I didn't realize it, but it leaves me with very sensitive skin. So a few days ago, I scratched myself. I was just itching myself, itchy, and I left some very deep scars. So the nurse did tell me that that's what would happen, and also with the dehydration issue, it complicates it, it compounds the issue. So I have to remember to be careful with my skin and use some moisturizer on my hands. Mm, Right, the other thing I was reminded to do is to stay out of the sun or wear a hat, and I hate wearing hats. And that's why today, when it was overcast and now raining, I went for a walk. So my skin is very sensitive. It's easy to scratch and it's sensitive to the sunlight. So that's it. So this is 2.5 weeks in for my update, and my chemo cycle is every 2 weeks. So my next chemo is going to be in 1.5 weeks, because again, it's a cycle of every 2 weeks. So thank you so much for watching. Please continue to pray for me. And as always, if you have any questions or you just want to say hi, leave a comment down below. Thank you, and bye-bye.